go back to Mississauga now, where Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is at an event there with Premier Ford. He's speaking now. Let's listen in.
And with the members of our team, local MPs, Peter Fonseca, and others.
Sonia Sidhu, Ruby Sahota, and Francesco Sabara. Premier Ford, Mayor Cron, it's great to see you both again as well. I want to thank Marc Dunoyer of Election and Kirsten Combs of Astrazeneca Canada as well for being here with us and organizing this gathering. I know there's many people from the research community here today, and this is a really exciting announcement that'll create good, highly skilled scientific jobs, invest in leading research, and develop new treatments. Since we announced a few weeks ago our plan to strengthen public universal healthcare systems, I've been meeting with healthcare workers and students here in Ontario, in Nova Scotia last week, later this week in British Columbia, and whoever I meet with, from personal support workers to nurses to doctors to medical students, they all share the same goal as we do, providing the best possible care for Canadians. This is what mattered during the pandemic and what matters today, keeping people healthy, making sure they have access to the care they need. We announced
major investment, and we're also working with the provinces and territories with bilateral agreements that will bring true improvement to healthcare services, improvements that are concrete for the people, access to more family physicians, reducing wait lists for appointments and surgeries, mental health, addictions, a modernized system that will provide all your health information quite safely and securely to the team.
Signed agreements in principle with over half the provinces and territories, including Ontario, which was one of the first. We signed with Manitoba just on Friday, and this morning we announced another agreement in principle with Alberta. These agreements take us all one step closer to making the real improvements that Canadians deserve. We fully expect the rest of the provinces and territories to make this step with us very soon. Now, making sure Canadians have the best possible health care also means we're leading on research, on developing life-changing treatments, and in strengthening our ability to make the vaccines and medicines people need today. This is exactly why we're here. Astrazeneca is making a major investment to expand their research and development hub here in Mississauga, and it'll continue its important research on cancers, on COVID-19, and chronic kidney diseases, amongst many others. The company will also create a new hub to research rare diseases, and with tomorrow being Rare Disease Day, it couldn't be timelier. This expansion will create 500 more good middle-class jobs here in the GTA. AstraZeneca is making this announcement in Canada because we have the talent, expertise, and scientific ecosystem a leading company like AstraZeneca is looking for. We have the hospitals that are on the forefront of care and research. We have world-class universities with the best scientists and researchers, and especially we have talented, well-educated, and driven workers. Over the past few years, our government has been making continued investments to strengthen this competitive advantage. Pascal was talking a little bit about the various aspects that makes Canada a good place to invest for a research-intensive, high-technology company. To name just a couple of them, he talked a lot about data, and that's a cornerstone of what we're building into our health systems for the future. We know that having reliable access to your own health information to make sure that if you show up at an emergency room, the local doctor will be able to see what tests you've had recently, who your specialists are, and what you've been treated for as necessary. But also making sure we can share data in secure and responsible ways right across the country to make sure we know what's happening, what works best, and how we can better support Canadians from coast to coast to coast. Data is extremely important. But how we deal with data is extremely important as well. That's where, and Pascal talked about AI, Canada is one of the world leaders on artificial intelligence. Researchers like Jeffrey Hinton here in Toronto, Joshua Bengio in Montreal, and others across the country, including Rick Sutton in Edmonton, demonstrated the power and impact of artificial intelligence, and that application to the pharmaceutical industry is key. Another one people don't necessarily think of is the intersection with quantum computing. We know that the amount of computing power required to even begin to simulate clinical trials in a way that's going to show promising paths is massive. Well, a few weeks ago, I was here in Toronto for an announcement around a quantum computing company that is able to do in a few seconds what would take an ordinary computer about 9,000 years. The kind of computing power that's being developed in Canada will have huge applications, including here in the biotech sector. So we're really pleased to continue to see global interest and confidence in what we're doing here, but mostly in what Canadians are doing here. Because across the country, we're not just building a critical capacity to produce vaccines and therapeutics, we're building a whole ecosystem. We're expanding our research network across universities, hospitals, and research centers. We're investing in innovations, in high-performance tools, and new facilities, so Canadian researchers can continue to make breakthroughs the whole world needs. And we're building a more resilient future for our healthcare systems and for Canadians. And when global companies are looking at being able to develop drugs and solutions that'll work right around the world and the full diversity of the planet, well, what better place to come than Canada, where we understand that that diversity is a huge advantage here at home that also allows us to lead around the world. Alors, je veux à nouveau remercier Pascal.
So I want to thank Pascal, Marc, and all the others involved in this great announcement today. Companies like Astrazeneca know that Canada is an ideal place to innovate and invest. Our government continues its work to attract major strategic investments like this one, and we will make our bio sector even more dynamic.
So that scientists and future scientists can build a real career here at home while making a real difference around the world. We're building together a healthy and resilient future. And we're building an economy that works for all Canadians. Merci beaucoup, mes chers amis.
Thank you, Prime Minister Trudeau. Thank you for your investment and support in growing the life sciences sector here in Canada and really bringing more innovation to make Canadians healthier. With that, please help me welcome to the podium Premier of Ontario, Doug Ford.
First of all, thank you so much, and good afternoon, everyone. And Kirsten, thank you for having us by. And Pascal, boy, I think a few of you were there, but my goodness, what a greeting we had over there, meeting all your employees. It's fantastic, and that's the backbone of any company. And it's great to be back here in Mississauga alongside Prime Minister Trudeau, Minister Fedeli, and Minister Jones, Minister Rashid, as we welcome another game-changing investment right here in Ontario. And I know, Mayor, you must be as happy as punch, another great investment in the city of Mississauga. I also want to recognize Minister Duclos and Minister Kira, and again, Mayor Crombie, and our local champions, MPP Sabawe, Anand, Tangri, Kusindova, and Cozetto, and all our federal partners too, all the federal MPs and municipal elected officials. And a big shout out to, again, Pascal, Mark, and Kristen for putting this event on, and the entire team at AstraZeneca. and thank you for having us here today. My friends, our government has a plan to build more resilient economy and a stronger Ontario. It's a plan to attract good-paying jobs and new investments in communities right across this great province. We're making electricity more affordable. We're keeping taxes and fees low. We're cutting red tape and regulations, and we're also reducing the cost of doing business here in Ontario. As I mentioned to you, Pascal, over $7 billion of burden every single year are coming off the backs of companies to make sure that we create the environment and the conditions for companies to come here and thrive and prosper and grow. We're investing also in transit, roads, and highways to keep people and goods moving. And we're training the skilled workforce that companies need to grow and expand here in the province. And today, we are thrilled to see our plan in action. We're thrilled to welcome this announcement from Astrazeneca to expand its cutting-edge research facility right here in Mississauga. And I know, Pascal, you were saying about our universities, our #1 selling feature when we go around the world with Minister Fedeli is the talent that we have. Our universities and colleges, the talent that we have, the brightest people anywhere in the world coming out of here in Ontario. This significant investment adds to the substantial investment that Astrazeneca has made in Canada since 2021 and will create 500 new great-paying jobs for Ontarians. It will increase the number of clinical trials in oncology and immunology, helping to accelerate the development of innovative therapeutic drugs and vaccines for patients in Ontario, but also around the world. This investment is a huge vote of confidence in Ontario, in our thriving research ecosystem, our world-class universities and colleges, as I mentioned earlier, and in our skilled workforce. It also reaffirms Ontario's position as a growing leader in the life sciences sector. My friends, the COVID-19 pandemic demonstrated the importance of having a strong life sciences sector, of building a domestic supply chain of personal protective equipment, critical medical supplies, and vaccines. And that's why last year our government released Ontario's Life Sciences Strategy. This strategy, the first of its kind in over a decade, serves as a roadmap to continue growing Ontario's biomanufacturing footprint and to continue making Ontario a leader as a life science hub. And over the past 2 years, Ontario has attracted, these are pretty good numbers, they have attracted almost $3 billion in investment into the sector. And as I name a few, I want to thank, again, the partnership that we've had with the federal government. It's second to none, attracting companies from all different sectors. But this also includes Sanofi, the $925 million state-of-the-art vaccine facility to meet growing demand for the flu vaccines, specifically for populations at greater risk of influenza. And Omnia Bio, $580 million investment for a new cell and gene therapy manufacturing facility being built in Hamilton. These are the type of investments, along with AstraZeneca's investment announced today, will help to ensure that Made in Ontario solutions are available for future public health challenges that may arise. And we want Ontario to be the place where medical breakthroughs are discovered, commercialized, and developed into innovative products and services for the benefit of Ontarians and all Canadians. My friends, we're building a globally competitive economy, attracting billions of dollars in investment and thousands of new jobs in the auto sector and manufacturing and tech sector and in the life sciences. And we're not done yet. With our expertise, our world-class workers, our abundant natural resources, and our long history as Canada's economic engine, we are building a strong economy that will capitalize on every advantage that Ontario has. And while the world faces economic uncertainty, there's one thing I have complete confidence in, is Team Ontario and Team Canada spirit. And when we all come together and I've said this conversation many times with other elected officials, when we all come together, our talented workers, our great partners in business like Astrazeneca, and all levels of government, I know we can accomplish incredible things. Together, we will build a stronger Ontario. Thank you again to AstraZeneca team for the investment and for your continued confidence in our great province and our people. Thank you all, and may God bless the people of Ontario. Thank you.
Thank you, Premier Ford, and thank you for championing the life sciences sector, as well as creating an environment for businesses to invest in Ontario. And now with that, please help me welcome to the stage Marc Denoyer, CEO of Alexion.
Okay, an announcement from Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and Premier Doug Ford. Mississauga Mayor Bonnie Crombie's there in Mississauga today with AstraZeneca announcing that they're bringing 500 highly skilled scientific and high-tech jobs to the Greater Toronto area.